In this video, I would like to explore the associative learning nature of our brain and how moments of stress and anxiety, worry, can trigger our system into learning a correlation between substances and cortisol. You see, our system always wants us to be balanced and to feel okay. And when we're living in a high stress, worrisome environment, which many of us are these days, then our system will frequently expand and try to find new ways or lean into old ways of balancing itself. And if we don't have organically available methods for balancing, yoga, mindfulness, exercise, etc., then we will frequently reach outside our internal world and find substances that will do the balancing act for us. That's the easy button, right? That idea of coming home from a stressful day of work and pouring yourself a glass of wine or a little whiskey, perhaps having a little marijuana throughout the course of a day, maybe at night leaning on the Ambien to help you sleep, whatever it might be. It's very easy for us, especially here in the 21st century, to reach for a substance to regulate what's happening inside. Now, that being said, some substances we need, right? Like if we have a prescription from a physician for an antidepressant and it's helpful for us, I'm not saying take that off the plate. Keep that. Talk to your doctor about what to do with that. What I am talking about are these external experiences that we might be reaching for a little more frequently than historically. I was talking to a patient the other day who's noticed that they have pizza 4 or 5 times a week. I was like, simple carbohydrates, sugar, very specific electrochemical inducing experience that occurs with simple carbs. So that was a awareness for us of, your system is probably operating in a state of severe prolonged stress. Now, we already knew that through the course of our work. And what a great job their brain and body were doing and finding a way to regulate when the system internally wasn't able to regulate itself. Now, I want you to notice that frame that I just put in place. That's really important. Our brain and our body, as we know, are always working to keep us safe and strong and to allow us and empower us to keep moving through each day. That might mean bringing in an external substance to change what's happening in our internal system. The short-term benefit of feeling more balanced, dissociated, or disconnected might feel great. And the long-term consequences often carry an overload of shame, embarrassment, or guilt. And so while we're doing the work and moving through understanding the learning process that our brain has developed around different substances, we always want to participate in a deep awareness of gratitude for how our brain and our body always endeavors to survive. And then learn more about the data points where our brain goes, this equals this, so that we can create actionable change going forward. So if you're watching this video, perhaps you've already made your list of different things that you might be leaning on for additional emotional support that may have not the most preferable long-term consequences. In the next couple of days, I would like for you to take a moment and notice when the thought comes up that you want XYZ. Notice the moment where your brain sends up that flare that says, I would love a glass of wine, or I'd really like a cookie. Notice the moments where you wander towards the kitchen or you reach for your edible or whatever it might be, and backtrack 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, even 3 hours, and see if you can identify the moment where your nervous system started to feel out of whack. Now, here's the interesting thing. Once we've started to use substances as an opportunity for internal regulation, our brain will expand its generalization from being related to a negative affect experience. So perhaps a moment of stress, our brain goes, stress equals eat cookie. But because stress feels very similar to excitement, our brain might generalize also in a positive direction. And that might mean that you have something good happen and your brain goes cookie. So I want you to notice both sides of the equation. What is happening positively and negatively, where your brain goes X, I want the thing. And again, this is a non-judgmental assessment. It's simply loving self-awareness so that you can start to move into deeper awareness with what your brain has learned to connect. Because A plus B equals C. And that usually means event plus emotional electrochemical response, internal chemical release equals I need something external to balance me. It's a simple math equation. And Unfortunately, for some of us, that math equation, that C, are the things that we'd rather not be doing as much of. So take a moment and start finding your math equations. And you might find there's many different learning associations that you've come across. But like we've mentioned before, the first step towards healthy, sustainable change is awareness coupled with self-compassion. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video, but first let's go find those math equations. I'll see you soon.